Welcome back to Where Will We Go Next? Or maybe more importantly, why will we go there? This week we're going to take a whirlwind trip through the Bible from the book of Exodus right near the front into Chronicles halfway through the Old Testament. In Exodus, we're at the foot of Mount Sinai and all of the drama there, if you remember all of the things that were happening. We concluded last week on Sunday with including the gathering of the offering of the materials for the beginning of the building of the tabernacle, where God would meet with his people. And this week we're moving to the end of 1 Chronicles, the final chapters of the life of King David. And in that time, the people of Israel, they've marched many miles, they've lived through many experiences, they've fought many battles, and they've camped in many places. Throughout these years, a constant for them has been the presence of the tabernacle, the place where they met with God, where they worshiped, where they learned of God and sought his presence with them. It was a tent, a very big tent, and it was built according to God's plan, and it went with them everywhere. Then we come to this life of King David in Chronicles, and we know King David mostly for his music and his poetry, for his leadership in times of war, for his bravery. We know of his sin and his repentance. And David is also often referred to as a man after God's own heart in all of the reality of what has been his life. With all of his fame and accomplishments, one of the things that David most wanted to accomplish was to build a more permanent house of God. He says, I live in this great big palace and God lives in a tent. And he wanted to replace the tabernacle, the great big tent, which must be showing its age by now. And he said he wanted to build a temple. And God says to David, it's not what I want you to do, David. One of your sons will build me a temple, but not you. We'll talk more about that on Sunday. But the site is chosen. The materials are gathered, the place is dedicated to God and prayed over, but David has to then give way to his son Solomon, who will oversee the building of the temple. David acknowledges all of this. He's not really pleased at first. In fact, he laments this loss. He wants to do this. But he comes to the place where he ensures that the place, the material, the way forward is offered to God. And in 1 Chronicles chapter 29, verse 17, David declares before God that this has all been given from willing hearts with honest intention. So that's the next biblical piece. Preparation for today and for Sunday's message reminded me of two things. So I'm going to put an earworm in many of your ears. Do you know what that is? It's when a song gets lodged in your mind and establishes itself on a never-ending loop. And some of you will not like me from this moment onwards until this loop goes away. What's the earworm? Some of you will also be ahead of me on this. Building up the temple. Building up the temple. I was going to sing to you, but it's not going to help either. Building up the temple of the Lord. You know, the boys, won't you help us? Girls, won't you help us? It becomes a shouting match. I'm not sure we even knew we were talking about the temple. Building up the temple of the Lord. Enjoy the earworm. Sorry about the weak delivery of it. And it also reminded me of a game. Have you ever played Jenga? Here's Jenga. Comes in a life-size version as well, but we'll just have the little desktop version here. Jenga begins as a relatively solid structure. These wooden pieces come with a little building guide. You push that in and you make sure everything's all leveled up and you get it all ready. Ensures it's all set up correctly. And then the object of the game is that pieces will be removed from down here and they'll be placed on top, each person taking their turn. The person who places the last piece on top before the structure eventually topples over is the winner. So you push out, there we go, there, that one's. What an easy game. You pull here. We'll try another one. There, that one goes easy. You place that on top. Let me see. Oh, there we go. First few players. It's really easy, but you got to be careful how you pull these out. You can't touch the rest of the structure. So we go like this. No, 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 no. Oh, there comes one. Oh, oh, that maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe if we pull it out this way. Oh, no, this is going to be a problem. There we go. I'm going to cheat. Okay, there we go. Just to give us that thing. And so you keep going, and sometimes you'll pull out one of these ones. Or maybe not. Well, there you go. It went so much easier when I was doing this all by myself before, and you weren't watching me on camera. There we go. And we go, and you keep moving and pulling these out. This one now that wanted to come out before, there it goes, and you just keep building this and wait until it gets to a point where it's literally balancing on one little piece and is ready to fall. Jenga is a game of strategy and maintenance. The removal of each piece and the placement of each piece must be carefully considered and cautiously placed. It's in the interest of all players to consider the person taking a turn before them and the person following them. Yes, the object is to win, to be the last person to place your Jenga piece on top before it topples over. But there is for me so much greater fun in cooperating and encouraging each player in turn. There's the understanding that it will topple. That's the game. In the matter of building up the temple, this is not the intent. The intent is to establish a place where God will be glorified, a place where he will be worshiped, where his people will learn of him and respond. It's also a matter of integrity and of teamwork and of carefully considering spiritual matters, personal and corporate, in our relationship with God. The purpose of the temple is for it to sit central where God's people are, where they will learn of him and will respond to him. It's also a matter of integrity and teamwork. It's so important for all of us what we do with that temple. We're going to learn about that through the scriptures. If you live in Listowel and have been observant these past few months, you will have seen the sign in front of the old Anglican church. There, since the beginning of COVID, have been these words: "If my people, who are called by my name, will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven, and I will forgive their sin, and I will heal their land." These words are part of a dialogue between Solomon and God when the temple is built. It's taken a bit out of context here, but it's a beautiful verse. It's a reminder. He's saying to Solomon, the temple is great. Thank you for building it. All of these things, you've dedicated it to me. But most important are the people and their relationship with me. So many more things I could say about the temple and about Jenga. You might even be wondering why I thought of both of these things together, but that's me. Reality is, the temple, the relationship, is meant to stay. Jenga will topple.